I want to make a blower to use with my 2-bucket cyclone because this shop vac is just too damn loud. I want to use an induction motor, and I think the most suitable one for my collection is probably this one. This motor is a 2/3 horsepower motor from a really cheap table saw, and what's cool is it has these flanges that used to be for mounting a blade on here, and that would be very convenient for mounting the impeller. I have to figure out if this motor is powerful enough, so I'm going to test this by just spinning a blade in free air. The current was out of range on the power meter, so definitely overloaded. I have to shorten those blades a little bit. "14 amps is still too much, so I gotta shorten it some more. Experimenting some more, I cut a little bit of width off of here, and that allowed me to extend the length a little bit, and with that I might be able to get away with a rotor that's as large as 34 centimeters or about 13.5 inches. I just spent a bunch of time designing the impeller and the spiral housing on the computer, and I went with a 35 centimeter diameter impeller that's about 14 inches, which is quite large. Normally that size impeller is for like 3 horsepower dust collectors. So with this motor it's very iffy. If it's a bit too large I can always cut a little bit off the edge, but I figured with the backward curved blades and keeping it relatively thin I should be okay with a 2/3 horsepower motor. And I also printed out cutting templates for all the curved vanes that go on the impeller. Rather than glue a paper template on here, I just recreate that shape using compasses. Dividing a circle by 6 is easy, and then I bisected those to get divided by 12, and I marked the angles where these are supposed to start and end. And I'm just checking that if I place these fins on the tick marks I made, that looks about right. Need more hand planes. Oh, I think I can use those guys. While that's drying, I'll start working on the spiral housing. This time around I'm building up the housing in layers of short pieces, and once I've got these all sandwiched and glued together I can cut them out on the bandsaw. This glue up is turning out to be not quite as straightforward as I was hoping it would be, because the clamps keep getting in the way of putting a template on it, so I'm almost going freehand. I'm balancing the impeller on a marble to see if it has a tendency to tip to one side or the other, and it pretty consistently tips this way, so I made this counterweight to glue in here, and that makes it pretty much even whichever way it goes, so I think that mostly balances it. Well, here's a major screw up. It turns out my motor runs this way, and these vanes need to be curved away from the rotation. It needs to go this way, otherwise it's way too inefficient. So after trying to figure out how to reverse that motor and cursing a fair bit, I've come up with another solution, which is to cut out the middle of this impeller and then just flip it over and make this the mounting side, and now I've got my vanes curving the right way. I have to be very careful to get this on the right way right away, because if I slide it around too much I spread the glue, and it's got to be lined up perfectly, otherwise this thing's going to be way off center. It's much easier to work out where these segments go if I clamp it in a way where I always have the template handy. So no clamping from this side this time. Got the motor put back together and the impeller mounted, and it runs pretty round. Although I did have to shim a little bit back here to achieve that. Only 9 amperes! I could have made it bigger! "37 centimeters of suction, not bad for a dust collector."
So based on my readings, this little one should be able to outsuck the big one. So let's give it a try.